The National Radio Service has issued a severe podcast warning for speakers in your area. This includes, but does not limit to, the listeners from Facebook, YouTube, and online streaming from a webpage. The groundlocks are the cause of the weather pattern, and this includes Adam, Justin, Jason, Brian. The National Radio Service custodial members detected an hour of a weekly podcast storm. 4 brothers converged to form an unstable system that can result in massive explosions and colossal eruptions. This is not a test. This is the forecast.
Greeting, Earthlings. We have now taken over your radio.
If I hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high. Can you hit 'em low, hit 'em low, hit 'em low?
Going straight to the hole. You ain't got no game. I'm breaking you out the frame, coming through like a train.
Welcome in. It is another episode of The Forecast. This is a new podcast that we're doing. The 4 of us brothers in one room, confined for the time by 4 walls. We'll see how long these walls last. Once again, I'm Brian, alongside Jason, alongside Adam, and alongside Justin. The 4 of us are in here doing something new every single week. It is called The Forecast. You can find us on Instagram, _forecast. Find us on Facebook, The Forecast. Find us on Twitter, _forecast. Of course, forecast is always spelled F-O-U-R. Let's check the weather going around the United States and in New England right now. Where we are in Connecticut, it kind of varies. A lot of folks are feeling some extreme heat, a heat wave, as there's been some scorching weather. And folks like me are actually getting rained on, just heavily downpoured on. I'm talking about us Yankee fans. It is just a nightmare of thunderstorms, lightning, flooding, the worst case weather you could think of. That's what's happening as a New York fan. Of course, the other 3 gentlemen here in studio, they're Red Sox fans, so they're at the beach. They're enjoying the nice weather. Justin, it must be nice to be in such a predicament where you can wear shorts and a T-shirt every day and know you're going to be fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is nice to be sitting in that position. But at the same time, I don't think that it's time for anybody to let their guard down just yet. Do I think that, the Sox are feeling pretty good at where they're sitting right now, 9.5 games up with a couple months of baseball left? Yeah, I definitely do. But, I kind of look at it in a sense that, it takes me back to, I'm trying to think of what year that was. It must have been 2000 and maybe is it 10?
What are you looking for?
Well, I want to know when the Red Sox had that epic collapse in September. I still remember that game against the Baltimore Orioles.
It was 2012. It was Francona's last year.
So believe me, I think it's a much different position this year. But
I think, yeah, go ahead.
But I don't think that you can really, say it's over until it really is over.
I disagree. It's over.
No, it's not. Okay.
It's over.
Do you remember?
Over.
Okay, Adam, first of all, the best comparison, and Justin was going for 2010, which I don't agree with. The best comparison is 78. Okay, 1978, the Red Sox have an 8.5 game over the Yankees, and They lose. They force the Yankees are in 4th place in the AL. They end up tying the Red Sox on the final day of the season. They go to a 1-game playoff, and the Yankees win. Red Sox don't even make the playoffs. So this is a team that I don't ever. I mean, until it happens, until the ticket's punched. Listen, I love this team. This could arguably be the best Red Sox team in history, but I'm not celebrating yet, and I think you're absolutely nuts to do so.
I mean, as a Yankee fan, I understand your hesitance to want to celebrate, but I'm the one that should be looking at this like, hey, hang on a second. We have a chance. There's still plenty of baseball left. I don't see how there is a chance.
No, it's over.
They beat our number 1 pitcher, Severino, handedly.
Well, the problem is you're pitching. You don't have the offense.
Right, but that's
you
my
don't
point.
have pitching. That's the problem.
Severino
is not a number 1.
He's not.
Severino is not a number 1.
He's not.
You have a number 2.
He's a number
you have
1.
A number 3, and you have a bunch of other things.
Adam, he's a number 1.
Listen,
come on,
Severino is
can we go
not
back to that
number
real
1.
quick? Severino not being a number 1.
He's
put him on a staff that actually has a 2, 3, 4, and a 5 guy, and then maybe he becomes the number one.
Okay, put him for how many? For what? What track record he has this year? He has
last year he was pretty good too.
He's going through what most players in Major League Baseball go through.
A couple years ago, his ERA was like 5.54.
He's going through a 4 or 5 game slump. He is a number one pitcher.
The point is, though, the Yankees aren't going to make the playoffs or succeed in the playoffs based on pitching. They're going to succeed on their bullpen.
Their big problem is they're going to have to pitch Severino in the wild card game.
Okay, listen, I'm not even. My point is the Yankees right now, when we're talking about this, okay, the Red Sox have starting pitching. Okay, offensively, they're actually comparable if the Yankees were healthy. The Red Sox have injuries too, but the advantage, the big advantage for the Yankees comes down to the bullpen. And look at what happened in the first game of the series on Thursday. I mean, they were giving up runs left and right. It didn't matter who came out of the pen. And then Chapman blows it last night. So that's their strength, and
that's not the first time that the tail end of the bullpen, Chapman and Betances. I'm not saying Betances had a hard time last night, but that's not the first time.
That's two bad starts.
But in Chapman's defense, it's been a little while since he's gotten some work.
But that's two blown saves for him in the last since the All-Star break. I mean, he's definitely
not true. That's not true.
Well, you want to talk saving issues. Craig Kimbrell, on the other hand, is
and that's my point.
And Chapman, I think, was like finishing.
No, I'm just saying, and that's my point. The Red Sox bullpen, they're suspect. If there's a part of this team that's suspect, it's the bullpen, and that was my point altogether. What you saw in this series was the Red Sox took all three phases of the game: offensively, starting pitching, and relief pitching, and that was unexpected.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Jason. But to the Chapman point, I think he had like 21 consecutive saves. So
he's been great this year. Post All-Star break, he struggled. That's my. I'll get the stats for you. But
yeah, I don't know. But I'm saying it was consecutive. Anyways, that's irrelevant. I think the biggest thing not being talked about is the struggles that the Yankees offense have had, especially since Aaron Judge has gone down. I mean, how many runs did they even put up in that 4-game series against Boston?
Right.
That's not going to get it done.
I am now going to get back to the original question, and I am going to explain to the listeners why it is over and why you three are on crack.
I don't know if there was an original question.
That being said, the Red Sox all season long have not had a drought. Why? Because this is, and by the way, drought, we're our weather show. Just want to throw that in. But
okay.
Did you just pat yourself on the back for a pun?
I did.
Okay, all right. Let's just get through these pages.
Red Sox have not had a drought all year long, guys. And what makes you think at this point in the season, with just a month and a half left to play baseball, that they're going to hit a drought? Meanwhile, the Yankees, let's not forget, they started the season below 500. They've been below 500 for like the last 30, 35 games.
Correct.
So at this point, guys, the New York Yankees have a bigger task. They got to make sure they stay ahead of the Oakland Athletics. They can't even worry about the Boston Red Sox and the division at this point. They got to ensure that they stay ahead of Oakland. And like Justin has mentioned, there's a big series coming up in a few weeks out in Oakland between the Yankees and the Oakland Athletics. I do believe Justin has.
This is news to me. I didn't.
Well, I mentioned it before we went on the air, and he, and it's a big point to bring up. There's two things that really concern me about the Yankees. And to Adam's point, I do believe that it's over. I really don't see the Red Sox going into a drought bad enough to give up a 9.5 game lead.
Let's remember something real quick, guys. There's 3 games at hand. 9.5 could be 11 if the Yankees lose those games.
Okay, but the Red Sox still, if you're going to compare schedules, okay, the Red Sox are still playing the Phillies, who, by the way, are probably the 4th or 5th best team in baseball. It's not like it's a cakewalk schedule. And they still play the Yankees.
2 games.
Listen,
big deal.
But
here's what's concerning for the Yankees. 2 things. Number 1 is, for me, I felt this way. They're an all or nothing team. Okay. Either they're hitting home runs, or they're not scoring runs. Mm-hmm. They don't have a single batter in the lineup who's over 300.
They're third and they're 3 and 4 guys are
not hitting 300. Gary Sanchez is not hitting 300.
Gary Sanchez isn't even hitting 200.
They don't have a single batter in the lineup who plays regularly that bats over 300.
Right. Correct. They are all or nothing. I don't.
My second point to what Adam was saying. Yes. The Yankees, I think, overall have a slightly easier schedule than the Red Sox do over these last final 2 months. But they have a West Coast trip. They have to go to Oakland for 3 games and to Seattle for 3 games in September when all the marbles are out, and that's going to be a hell of a road
trip. Did you guys watch the game on ESPN last night? Did you see the stat that you see the stat that ESPN put up what the Yankees' record is against last place teams?
They don't put them away.
No, I know that.
And that's not very good.
No,
so you're saying, the Yankees have this easy schedule. Okay. Well, that's great, but I got news for you. The Yankees have not taken advantage of these last place teams all season.
But yet they're probably still going to win.
Put them away.
But yet they're probably going to still win close to 100 games, which means that they are playing up to the other opponent's levels. Listen to me. I'm all in on the Red Sox. I just told you this. Yes, okay, the smart money, the Vegas money, the odds are heavily, I mean, it's not even a contest. The odds are heavily in the Red Sox favor here. And I'm not actually sitting here saying the Yankees are going to make a comeback. And I, too, have great concerns about this team. I genuinely believe that they may have been playing to the sum of their parts were greater than the individual pieces. Okay, but it's the freaking Yankees, okay? As a Red Sox fan, how are you not afraid of that? How does that not concern you? Let's assume they make the playoffs. Let's assume they make a wild card. Let's assume they win the 1-game playoff. The Red Sox and the Yankees still play each other in a series, and I'm not prepared.
That's a different story. I think when it comes, if they meet in the ALDS, I think all bets are off.
They are all off. So, but if you say that over 7 games, how can you not say that when there's still 7 weeks to go in the season?
Because I think, like Adam said, I think they're focused.
Your argument is the Red Sox.
I think their focus.
Your argument is that the Red Sox haven't had a slump. They've been remarkably healthy. Okay, so like I hate saying this because it frightens me, and I don't believe in jinxes.
They're missing their starting second baseman all season.
All season, he's not even on the team. As far as I'm concerned, he's not a member of the Red Sox.
Yeah, this is a great point, though. He wasn't there, and
he wasn't. He hasn't been there in 2 years. It's not. That's not staying healthy. If somebody didn't start the year and they're still not playing, that's not a loss. They haven't lost.
Yeah, but who are the Yankees losing that's so big outside of Aaron Judge, who they just recently lost, by the way?
Yeah. Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez, who's obviously
how good has he been?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm beginning to think he may have
fine, but no.
How many home runs he's got?
Okay, the point is I'm not even comparing them. What I'm telling you is Adam's point was that the Red Sox can't fail because they haven't had a slump. Yeah, they've been relatively healthy. Right now, Chris Sale looks to be coming back. Okay, all right. And they're incredibly lucky right now. They have 3 hamstring injuries. Hopefully Ian Kinsler's okay. Okay, I mean, all reports are that it's a minor injury. He'll be back on schedule. Okay, but the fact of the matter is the Red Sox have been really fortunate, and all it takes is one key cog. Yeah. And I don't want to say anything. I'm not going to name players, but I mean, imagine if the heart of their offense went down.
Yeah, but that's the name of the game, Jason. That's the name of the game. Every game you do, every sport you do is battle of attrition.
Which is
NFL, baseball, hockey.
Which is why with 7 weeks left to go, I'm not calling anything.
I think you guys are seriously underestimating how demoralizing this weekend was to the Yankees.
Why are you saying you guys as if you're talking to me? I'm calling it over, Adam.
Especially Thursday and Sunday's game. I mean, take the Yankee mindset for 1 second. Thursday, you're up 4-1. You're in the 4th inning. At this point, you're 5.5 games out behind the Red Sox. You're up 4-1 going into the 4th inning Thursday. You're thinking, hey, we could take 3 out of 4 here, and we could put ourselves right back in position. And then the next thing you know, Boston's putting a snowman up in the 4th inning. That game's over. The next 2 games, what'd you muster? 3 hits?
I mean,
4 hits?
Adam, you don't have to give me...
And then the final game... You're
8-4
you're up.
Yes, we don't need a recap. You don't have to give me the mentality of the Yankees.
I'm trying to explain.
I understand how a Yankee fan feels. I am a Yankee fan, Adam. You don't have to tell me how demoralized I should feel.
This weekend might not just be New York's last hope of and not going to win the division. This could have been now. You could watch them slide all the way out of the wild card.
Absolutely.
They're still 2.5 games ahead in the wild card. That is the stupidest comment I've ever heard.
And the hottest team
in baseball is right behind them.
Right behind them, Oakland.
You're telling me the hottest team in baseball isn't the Red Sox?
What the
hell are you talking about?
The hottest team is Oakland.
What are you defining that by? What is your hottest team? The most consecutive wins or the best record in the last 10?
Usually if a team wins the most consecutive games, they're the hottest team in baseball.
Right.
What I'm asking you is, what's your definition? Because I would argue that the team who just beat... people were considering the Red Sox, Yankees, and Houston the top 3 teams in the AL. One of those teams just got swept 4 straight games. That's That's pretty freaking hot.
The Oakland A's have won 6 straight. However, to Jason's point, the Red Sox are 8-2 in their last 10, whereas the A's are 7-3.
And tell me who the A's have actually beat. I know who they've beat. They've beat some pretty quality.
And the Yankees aren't a quality team? What are you talking about?
My point is that I believe right now that the Oakland Athletics are one of the hottest teams in baseball.
By the way, the last opponent.
Jason, let me ask
By the way, Justin,
let me ask you a quick question.
Guys, hang on. Let's dial this back for a second. They swept Toronto and Detroit, so your point kind of went out the window, Justin.
All right, guys. Let me ask you a quick question right now. Let me ask you a quick question. As a Boston Red Sox fan, who would you rather play in the playoffs going right now? At this very moment, who would you rather play going into the playoffs? Would you rather play Oakland or would you rather play New York?
Oakland, it's not a question.
Oh, I don't know, man.
No, you can't speak to this. You're a Yankees fan.
Yeah, and I think if we meet the Red Sox in the playoffs, it's over.
How many times?
Yeah, but
how many times do you have your arch rival?
Do you want to be going all the way to the West Coast in the ALDS?
Yes.
And
a team that's not used to playing you? Yes.
To Oakland, where Boston does not play very good baseball.
May I remind you?
Does not play very good baseball.
May I remind you, at the beginning of the season, when Boston got off to that fantastic start, they went out to Los Angeles, they swept the Angels, and then did they? If I'm not mistaken, did they not go to Oakland after that? And I think
they lost 2 or 3.
2 out of 3.
They did. They don't play well in Oakland.
Look, I'm telling you right now, I will take Oakland over New York any day. How do you want to play the guys who live, who eat, sleep, and die just to beat you?
Because
because
it's a mentality thing. Right now, the Red Sox are in the Yankees' head.
Right.
Every time the Yankees play the Red Sox,
professional athletes.
they're thinking about it.
No, absolutely not.
Jason,
I don't.
Your professional athlete thing goes out the window, I think, altogether. When it's something like it's a team sport, it's a camaraderie thing, and also the way they lost Game 4 of the series. That's what put him into the.
So you're telling me
that's the worst loss.
You're telling me that in 2004,
because now they
down 3-0 when the Yankees absolutely owned the Red Sox. You're telling me the Red Sox said, "Oh yeah, they are us. They're Yankees are our daddy."
No, but once the Red
athletes.
Sox started coming back, you don't think that was a thought in the Yankees' mind?
But that's not the situation.
Come on, they didn't even put up a fight in Game 7.
That's not the situation. That's why this is worse. The Yankees have all the ammo. They have all the reasons to be the underdog. The underdog has the advantage.
Right, but they don't feel like the underdog.
They absolutely are the underdog.
They don't feel like it because they got further than the Red Sox did last year.
It doesn't in the playoffs.
That's the ultimate goal.
Come ALDS. If the Red Sox ran away with the division, won the division by 6 or 7 games, okay, and the Yankees had to fight in tooth and nail to make a 1-game play-in, and now it's 7 games, winner take all, dude.
5 games.
5 games. Apologies, 5 games. Dude, I absolutely do not want to play the Yankees. That is, if nothing happened, if they won that series and got swept the next series, it would be a success. Why would you want to give the Yankees that shot?
Because the team in a 5-game series with the better pitching staff should win this.
That's a fact.
Okay, but
also,
that's always
the best
been the
way
case.
to describe.
We know it doesn't happen.
You can go 2 games with Sale.
If Sale's healthy.
He'll be healthy.
Okay,
listen, this is the best.
This is a guy, I love Chris Sale. This is a guy who literally has shown us time and time again that come the end of the season, he tires and he wears down.
Well, that's why they're shutting him down right now.
That's not why. He's got shoulder inflammation.
I don't really buy anything that the Red Sox medical staff says.
No, I don't. They're terrible. Okay, fine.
For BS.
Listen, this is why Yankees are in a bad situation.
They still haven't officially put Dustin Pedroia on the IR for the year.
Well, that is, by the way, if he plays this year, that is absolutely.
No, he's not playing. That's why they got Kinsler, which, by the way, was amazing.
Okay, listen, even if he plays in the regular season, he's not eligible for the playoffs, so it doesn't matter. That's why they got Kinsler.
All right. The good news is we're not a Red Sox podcast, so let's deviate from that. The best way to describe the Yankees is a current stage of Tiger. Everybody wants that shot at taking down the champ, but nobody's afraid of that team anymore. The Yankees don't have that aura that Tiger had in his early career, that the Yankees had 10 years ago, a decade ago.
I don't.
That's
Brian,
afraid isn't there.
Can I ask you a quick question as a Yankee fan?
What?
Are you happy with Aaron Boone as your manager?
There is. So Fire Boone was trending on Twitter.
I've thought about this. Yeah, I mean,
it's not his fault.
No. If it's not his fault, the other thought is, would they be better with Girardi?
Right.
I don't think Aaron Boone's doing a terrible job.
The Red Sox are
but I
clearly
don't ever
better
thought Girardi did.
Than with John
very
Bell.
clearly. Very clearly.
I'm asking you. is Aaron Boone a better manager for them than Joe Girardi?
I don't know if I can say yes or no.
Remember, Joe Girardi took this team to Game 7 of the American League Championship Series.
Listen, Joe Girardi, I think, got more out of his team, but he made some more questionable decisions, too. There was a lot of pitching decisions that Joe Girardi made that maybe weren't sitting well with a lot of Yankee fans and certainly the guys in house. So I don't. You really can't sit here and say, yeah, they would be better or they would be worse, vice versa, either way. But the point is, it's certainly something to consider, especially watching the Yankees how they finish the end of the year, because that's going to be something that's heavily debated. Was that the smart move to go to Aaron Boone?
And this is the trend in baseball now. The trend in baseball is you get the young manager recently retired from the game who's able to relate more to the players. And I think that's what Boston's experiencing with Alex Cora, and that's what Philadelphia is experiencing with Gabe Kapler.
Well, the Red Sox have a tradition of the first-year manager, too. I mean, remember Francona. It's just something weird about it. They jive.
Don't say Farrell, because Farrell did nothing that first year.
No, and that was a guy. This is not a Red Sox. This is not a Red Sox podcast. Brian, what do we...
Well, listen, so you guys, Adam and Justin, are obviously all in. I'm also all in on the Red Sox winning the division. I think it's already decided.
If the question is, are the Red Sox winning the division, the answer is yes. But am I celebrating? Am I popping champagne? Absolutely not. I'm not there yet.
Or are you a beer drinker? Is that why you're not popping champagne?
No, I just told you. I am not ready to party yet.
Right.
Some rosé all day.
First of all, Merc man. Okay, I'll take my good old American Bud Light. Okay, the beer of the people any day. Okay,
got a Miller High Life, baby.
Why the beer?
Never had a Miller High Life.
Craft beer that I drink is American.
That's true too.
That has nothing to do with where it's made.
In fact, it was probably made closer than Budweiser.
Budweiser's not American. It's owned by a company out of the Netherlands. But that's not.
By the way, we were talking really quickly about managers. Did you guys see the report over the weekend that Angels manager Mike Scioscia, who, by the way, has been with the Angels since for, I believe now, 18 seasons.
I think it's 19.
He is the second longest active tenured manager / coach in sports. Only Greg Popovich with the Spurs has been longer. But anyways, so the report is that he would be stepping down and not seeking a new contract after this season. His contract is expected to retire, and Mike Scioscia retaliated that report by calling it
refuted, but yeah,
poopycock. He's here.
Poopycock, that's the word I was thinking of. Do you know what a synonym of poopycock is?
What is that?
Moonshine.
What?
Moonshine. Moonshine has an alternate meaning. It doesn't just mean the liquor. It apparently also is a synonym of poopycock or malarkey or hogwash, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Did not know that. Anyways, shout out to Golick and Wingo.
I think our show's half over already, right?
So
listen,
he called the report. Nothing
all right,
but
we got it already. Thank you.
But the best part of that was the fact that who knows what's going to happen with Scioscia. Is he going to step down? Is he not going to step down? But that's not the only coach right now on the hot seat. Turning gears towards college football, Urban Meyer is also potentially on the hot seat. Adam is most heated about this, so I guess we'll let Adam kind of lead this one off. Adam, take it away.
All right. And I just really quickly want to say that we have to remember here in the United States, you are innocent till proven guilty. And also, I would like to just quickly remind all the listeners out there that Urban Meyer wasn't the person who beat his wife. It was his assistant coach in Zach Smith.
We could also technically say allegedly, because it's not.
Allegedly. That being said, I find it absolutely despicable that Urban Meyer has now come out and allegedly said in 2015, so the story is updated since the initial report, but in 2015, Urban Meyer says that he did indeed know that his assistant coach, Zach Smith, was allegedly beating his wife. And he says that he reported it. He reported it to the athletic director, Gene Smith.
He said he took the appropriate action through the appropriate channel.
Yeah, I don't think the word reported was ever.
I don't mean to cut anybody off. Do we really need a summary of the story?
No, yeah, Adam. Let's just get to your feelings about it.
What's your feelings on this? I mean, this is not. We already know what's happening.
Well, Urban Meyer Why was the guy still a coach on your team for the last?
Me there.
Well, these are things I want to know.
No, just why? Your inflection there.
Why was he still employed on your team for the last 3 seasons? Why didn't anybody?
He wins football games.
Well, that's the problem with sports, and that's what I'm going to get to right now. Because it's not about the kids. It's not about somebody beating their wife. It's about wins. And with Urban Meyer, it's always about wins because his rap sheet sucks. 10 years he's been the coach of Ohio State. 41 of his players have been arrested
Not his fault.
since 2008. Oh, by the way, let's not forget when he was coaching University of Florida, he recruited some guy by the name of Aaron Hernandez that he knew
was a good recruit.
That he knew was waving guns around Gainesville.
Now you're going off the rails. Now you're going off the rails. If coaches are going to be held accountable for their players, then fire every head coach in the NFL right now. In fact, get rid of every coaching staff. What are you talking about?
He brings up a fair point with Aaron Hernandez.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. And here's why. Hang on. He doesn't, and here's why. Because of the fact that Aaron Hernandez, coming out of high school, didn't have that same kind of background.
Wasn't a murderer. Literally,
all of those incidents in Florida happened after he was already recruited, after he was already a Gator.
Right, but he kept him.
Brian,
he didn't throw him off the team.
None of these things.
He kept him. He let him play.
So far,
get drafted.
So far, none of. First off, he got drafted by a Bill Belichick, who is probably one of the hardest, strictest coaches in the NFL.
You don't think Bill Belichick knew what was going on?
But here's my point, Adam.
This is the stupidest point
Here's
I've ever
my
heard.
point. None of these, everything that you're saying, the assistant coach, Aaron Hernandez, all of this stuff has so far yet to be decided in court. Nobody was ever charged. Nothing is being done yet. So why is it a part of his coaching duty to become now the law enforcement?
It's not. It's actually not. And that's, listen, okay, I am absolutely, if the conversation tonight, which it's not, was how we let athletes run amok, and it's a serious problem at all levels of sport, absolutely, let's have that conversation. But we live in the world where it's a win and really money-driven sport. Mm-hmm. So if you can't blame Urban Meyer, who, by the way, is just the one fall guy for today, and not, tomorrow it'll be somebody else, because there's literally tens of thousands of people employed in sports that bring in this kind of money, all right? But the fact of the matter is you can't expect him to play by rules that no other coach has to play by. So you're telling me that the University of Connecticut basketball team can steal laptops, okay, not ever found guilty in a court of law, okay? But you're not on here firing shots at Jim Calhoun. But because Urban Meyer's already under fire, it's fine. Let's tack on the fact that, his players get arrested. That's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is one very specific thing, which he's actually directly responsible for. And I hold him accountable to that. To this specific incident of, if it's true that he really didn't follow up the chain of command with these reports that he knew to be true. That's something entirely different than your players getting arrested off the field or whatever. Again, that's an entirely different conversation. I'd love to have it, but you can't hold the coach accountable for the kids, because that's
41 players in 10 years.
41 Minnesota Vikings have gotten arrested in the last. So
right, and where are all those head coaches now? Gone. Where's Denny Green?
Dead.
Well, he was fired before he died. Ouch!
And for the record,
where's Mike Tice?
They were fired
where's the other one? I can't think of his name.
I can't believe that just happened.
Leslie Frazier. Where's Leslie Frazier?
They were Leslie Frazier. By the way, Leslie Frazier cleaned up the team. But my point is,
hang on, before you jump in, before that, they sucked as coaches. They didn't actually have a good team.
Denny Green sucked as a coach?
Yeah, they were fired because they lost.
Denny Green had his tenure. Also, Denny Green also got other coaching jobs after the Vikings, too.
They were fired because they were
let's not act like his career was over after Minnesota.
These aren't coaches anywhere else anymore, Adam. And the reason they're not coaching anywhere else is not because they were let go because of discipline problems. They were let go because they didn't win.
You explain to me right now, how is Urban Meyer and keeping this and allowing this guy to remain on his team, how is it any different than what Joe Paterno did for Jerry Sandusky?
Are you joking?
It's entirely different.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Because Joe Paterno knew that Jerry Sandusky was out there sexually
but
abusing
he never said anything.
No, Joe Paterno's the worst example.
What do you mean he didn't say anything?
Let me ask you this.
Half the school got fired too.
How do we know that Urban Meyer actually went through the appropriate?
We don't.
Because let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. If Urban Meyer actually went through the appropriate channels, okay, reported everything that he knew to the appropriate people.
Supposedly to the athletic director.
If he actually did this, okay, and his conscience is clean and he did everything he could, then why feel the need to lie to the media?
Listen.
Why not come out to the media first thing and say, you know what, this is what I did? It's almost as if he lied to the media, then realized that, well, I'm an idiot and everybody knows I'm lying, and then he backtracks.
I'm on your side.
And why did he wait till now to fire the coach when he should have fired him 3 years ago when he knew what was going on?
Guys, I'm on your side. I actually tried to agree with you. The point was, Adam, you went off the rails. You started talking about all this other stuff. On this specific case, which is most closely associated with, like, you can compare it to the Penn State situation, absolutely. I'm with you. Get rid of the guy. But it has nothing to do with any of the player discipline issues. It is an entirely separate issue.
Forget about player disciplinary
What I
issues.
thought we were going to talk about, because I really, listen, Urban Meyer, if this is true, it's absolutely just, it's disgusting. It's despicable. But what I really thought we were going to talk about is how there's the same thing we saw in Penn State. Okay, there are fans in Ohio State.
I haven't even gotten to that yet.
25,000 students signed.
They're rallying.
Right.
They're rallying
Right.
around this guy. This is the same thing we saw in Penn State. And so when do we hold these stinking college students who should know better, who are grown adults?
Right.
It's disgusting. Why is this a thing?
Look,
you can't shut it down.
Hang on. Are you arguing the fact that college kids are still young enough to be able to make mistakes? Because if we're going to ever have this debate about should college kids get paid, they better start acting like it. I'm sick and tired of these. He's an 18-year-old kid. He should know better. No, that's not. That's okay if you're an 18-year-old kid going to class like my ass was. If you're
you were going to class, sure.
Fine, maybe not going to class, but again, that's my mistake to be able to make it 18. If you're going on to a football field in front of thousands of fans, you are held to a higher standard.
No, I was simply going to just tackle the question of why are there 25,000 students signing a petition? You know, everybody's like, oh, this is crazy. But, I mean, you got to look at it from a standpoint of a college kid.
Right.
Okay? A college kid is looking at it from this standpoint. Well, we're at a big football school. We want a football team. We want our coach to coach this team. We want to go to these games. We want to win the big games. So I don't know if you can look at
here's what happens.
handful of.
And here's what happens also. It takes 3 or 4 college kids to draw up a petition. They hand it to 4. These kids are like, yeah, sure, I'll sign it, whatever. And then before you know it, it spreads like gremlins. And before there's multiplying and everything.
Wait, spreads like gremlins?
For the record, listen, you know what? I'm going to close.
Like gremlins.
Listen, this topic just frustrates me.
But here's my problem.
Okay.
All these kids out there who were rallying today, what happens when their mother gets beaten? What happens when their sister, are they still going to be rallying?
You just said they're not thinking about it. And this conversation, it's just a frustrating topic.
Listen,
I'm going to close it by saying, the fact that 50 years ago, kids were signing petitions for civil rights and things that actually mattered and not college football coaches. So we've gone downhill a little bit in the last 50 years.
To Adam's original point, you opened up this whole debate about you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
Well, that's kind of where I stand on this. From what we've heard, Urban Meyer said he took the right procedures. He did what he needed to do professionally.
I don't think he did. I don't think
Adam,
he did.
that's fine. That is fine. But what I'm saying is I'm going face value. I am reading the story, and I'm not going to judge him until I find out some more concrete evidence.
Brian, let me ask you a question. You're a salesman, all right? That is your profession, correct?
Part of it, yeah.
Okay, you're a salesman. So you do a quote for a deck for a customer, and you give him the deck quote. Do you not follow up with him?
No.
A week later, 2 weeks later?
I wait until he calls me when he's ready for the order.
Well, so what if you don't hear from him for 2-3 weeks? Are you going to follow up, or are you just going to give up on it and you're going to say,
so
okay?
Urban Meyer goes to the appropriate authorities, and then 3 months passes, 6 months passes, nothing happens. So he just leaves it at that.
Right.
Yes.
We're talking about one of the best friends to his wife.
Right.
We're also just leaves it at that.
We're also talking about a guy who has a lot on his plate. He's the head coach of a major football.
She's just his fault, and she's going to lose her job too.
Right.
Okay. Right,
Listen,
so we all agree. Well, we don't all agree. Brian actually thinks he did nothing wrong, which
I don't think he did anything wrong. I'm just saying I think we can't judge the guy or make crazy statements.
You don't think that the reporting is good? You don't think that the reporters?
You don't think 3 months later, Urban Meyer should have gone to maybe the president of the school and said, "Hey, Mr. President of the school, I went to the athletic director." Wait, let me finish. Mr. President of the school. 3 months ago, I went to the athletic director and I told him something that I knew, that one of my assistant coaches is beating the crap out of his wife, and it's been 3 months now, and I haven't heard or seen anything. This guy's still on my staff.
Why is Urban Meyer going to be so aggressive about something he doesn't know is 1,000% true?
Because of Joe
More
Paterno.
importantly,
because of Joe Paterno. After the Penn State scandal, these guys should absolutely know that they have to follow up.
Yes. And you know, if
look what happened. How do you not know?
I disagree. I think these guys have bigger things to do.
Bigger thing than their job?
That's not their job. Their job is not going to be the police of the school.
You don't think when this comes out,
if he reported it,
no matter what you do, that is everybody's job.
It is everybody's job.
That is everybody's job. If you catch wind of something, it is your job.
Brian,
too.
if somebody gets shot,
but you can't then just quit your job of being the head coach and focus solely.
You don't quit your job.
Shut up for a second and focus solely on literally going after this one guy you don't have any concrete proof on. You don't know it's actually
concrete.
There were text messages. There's pictures. There is proof.
Yeah,
I didn't know if there was pictures. I know there's text messages, but anything could be said.
There's proof, and I'm not saying that he has to quit his job. I'm not saying that he has to do this every night. But you go back.
It's a 10-minute conversation.
Urban Meyer should have put that guy on either paid or unpaid leave of absence.
I don't even
2015.
Is that his job to do, or is that somebody else's job?
Urban Meyer's his boss.
He's the head coach.
Right, but who's Urban Meyer's boss?
The athletic director, who he told what was going on.
Right.
Supposedly that guy did nothing about it.
So just because Urban Meyer is the name in this story, why is he all of a sudden the worst?
He's not. They're all going to. This is exactly why
they're all going to lose.
Fine.
Everyone's
that's fine.
The president of the university is going to lose his job.
I'm okay with that.
Her job, I don't know who it is.
If you want a clean house,
professor, I believe.
Oh, she's going to lose her.
No, not his wife. I'm saying, you watch. This is going to be Penn State 2.0 in a much less bad version, but still, okay.
I wouldn't downplay these things.
It's okay.
Listen,
the point is, the athletic director's gone, Urban Meyer's gone, his coaching staff's gone, and the president of the university is going to end up resigning. You watch. This is cancerous.
That's fine.
Goes to show you how many people are culpable.
That's fine. If everybody clears house, that's fine with me. I don't want to see it becoming Urban Meyer and Urban Meyer's problem.
So you don't think Urban Meyer deserves to be fired?
No,
nobody else gets fired?
No. What? No, yeah. No. If Urban Meyer's the only one getting fired, absolutely.
So the guy did something wrong and you can't fire him just because you're not firing anybody else?
No, because there's other parties at fault. Again, I'm reading face value. If he actually reported this to the athletic director and Urban Meyer becomes the scapegoat and the athletic director, the AD is not getting canned, are you kidding me? That's what the AD's job would be.
But you can't just not fire Urban Meyer because you're not firing the athletic director.
Urban Meyer goes to the AD and says, "Hey, I got wind of these two linebackers."
Supposedly.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm about to say, so how about you just let me finish my thought for a second. Urban Meyer catches wind that a linebacker is bullying the kicker on the team, but he doesn't know. He's not positive. He's pretty sure, but he's not positive. What is he going to do? Going to go suspend those two kids off the team?
How are you
or take it to the AD and have somebody else?
Knew. How are you still stuck on this? He thinks he knew, but he didn't have proof. He had proof. He knew. Why are you still stuck on this?
So why is he not charged? Why is this guy not in jail?
Because he didn't commit a crime.
He committed a crime against.
But as the head coach of a
his crime is moral.
No, not Urban Meyer. Why?
Yeah.
Well, his crime is moral.
Well, you're
not
talking
legal.
about the husband.
Because the wife. Because
abused. Why is he not in jail?
The wife probably didn't ever press charges. She reached out to a friend, Urban Meyer, and his wife, and not the police. A lot of people do. That's a whole different conversation. A lot of women don't.
I don't know statute of limitations, and maybe there are charges to come in that.
Sure,
but,
there could be.
But up to this point, she didn't decide to do that. But
you can't victim blame, Brian.
I'm not victim blaming.
That's asking the question.
There's certainly one guy in this country who is enjoying all of this.
He's not. No, I disagree.
That would be Jim Harbaugh because now he might have a chance of beating Ohio State.
That's messed up. Okay, I can't.
True story.
Well, you know what was funny is that Jim Harbaugh a couple weeks ago came out and said he didn't like chicken. He didn't like to eat chicken. And then Bob Evans, the chicken restaurant, signed Urban Meyer to a contract.
Yeah, and then they immediately just and then
they already
did. No, Bob Evans already. Yeah, they already
Bob
did.
Evans has already.
Well, I hope he was able to make a couple of trips at least and get some free chicken before.
Since we're mentioning chicken,
Bob Evans doesn't even have good chicken.
Since we're mentioning chicken, here's actually an intriguing thought I had to say the other day. Where's the Super Bowl being played this year?
Is it Atlanta?
Back in Arizona.
No, it's Atlanta.
Adam's got it exactly right.
If you say anything,
you got the new state.
it's Atlanta. If you say something about Chick-fil-A, I'm going to lose my mind.
There it is. Sundays.
They're not
Chick-fil-A.
open. Get over it.
Oh, this is
So, hang on. It's not old news. Here's the question. Is Chick-fil-A really going to pass up
Yes.
on the amount of customers they would have at the Super Bowl?
Yeah. They do not open on Sundays. There's no alternatives. There's no excuses.
I think it's an intriguing thing.
It's not intriguing.
If they were to ever deviate from that, if they were ever to change their mind,
I think it's a very interesting question. I don't think that they will, but
this is the worst question ever been asked on this podcast.
No, that's first off.
They
it's a
will
two-show
not-
podcast, so that's not hard to.
They will not be opening. They won't even. Brian,
much material. to
Brian,
compare it to.
there's not even. Listen to me. There's not even a conversation taking place within Chick-fil-A headquarters. It's not being considered.
Obviously,
Well,
it's
I will
not-
say one
it's
thing,
not-
Brian.
Guys, it's not gonna
Chick-fil-A did, I think it was last year, for the people in Houston when they, were going through the tragedy of the hurricane down there. I do believe it was a Sunday, and Chick-fil-A passed out food to the people. So
That's
they have
not-
made exceptions.
that's not opening a
What's your
restaurant.
go-to at Chick-fil-A?
Dude, I don't eat Chick-fil-A.
Wait a minute. Whoa, what are we doing here?
What's your go-to at
I
Chick-fil-A?
do
I'm
have-
asking you what your go-to.
The number one, the classic number one with Chick-fil-A sauce.
The spicy chicken.
The spicy chicken's great. No, you just said my
the
go-to.
waffle fries.
The waffle fries. Yeah, I was gonna say
No, okay,
waffle
their
fries.
waffle fries are good, and I'll eat them. But waffle fries are not the best fries.
Where
We've
does-
advanced.
phenomenal.
Are you joking? We've advanced. We have evolved past waffle.
Here's what
fries.
I don't like about Chick-fil-A, though.
Nothing.
They don't have a soda fountain machine.
Yes,
you
they
can't
do.
get a refill. No, you can't get a refill. They fill your cup for you behind the counter.
That's
Yeah, I like to be in charge of my.
Yeah, but that's-
Right. They fill your cup behind the counter. There's no soda machine outside the counter that you
That
can
might
refill your
be-
soda.
Listen, I agree with Justin. We all need our own way to regulate our own soda consumption, but I think this is a great time to lean in to a segment that is a regular on this show. It is called The Top 4. In honor of the forecast, it was top 3 on our first show.
Yeah, I was going to say, you should probably explain.
That's what I was getting into. So it was the top 3. The concept, the idea is still remaining the same. However, Justin, utilizing the cough button. Yeah.
By the way, can we all do a quick top 2? Can we have top 2 names for the top 4? Because mine would be top 3 second, and then in first place top 4.
I didn't follow that.
That was as bad as any of Adam's.
That was. All right, I'm sorry.
Oh, that was a stinker. Listen, so the top 4, we're going to have a different host every week. Last week, Adam was the host. His top 4.
Top 3.
Well, right, his top 3. I'm not confusing the listeners.
renamed
Adam.
it.
We've
Top
renamed
4.
it. It's now top 4. Adam's, from the first show last week, Adam's top 4 topic was your top convenience store items. When you go into a gas station,
yes.
yeah, what do you buy first? So every week, someone else is going to come up with a different idea, and we don't know. None of this is scripted. We don't know until right now, right live as it is.
Well, I'm
so
excited.
Justin,
Let's get into it.
Take us live. What is our today's top 4 topic?
Okay, well, let's say, you're coming home from work and it's been a long day and you just want to get home and kind of veg out on the couch, and you sit down on the couch, and if you're like me, you like to play some video games from time to time, and you happen to have a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, a PlayStation, and an Xbox to choose from.
You're loaded.
So what are your top 4 games of all time going across all platforms?
Okay, well, I'm going to be
All
honest.
platforms.
I'm going to warn you right now. I literally grew up without video games, so I never had exposure to Nintendo.
Can you open it to PC games for Jason?
For Jason, I'll open it for PC games. I could probably wager a guess as to the games he's got. His tanks on there.
No, it's not going to be. No, it's not going to be a top 4.
That is poppycock or whatever, Adam. What was that, Adam?
Poopycock.
Poopycock.
All right. So who
lead us off? You lead us off because that's the whole idea. Is that the guy who gives the idea? He's already been thinking about it. So you have your top 4. That's going to give us a chance to come up with something.
I know what Jason would want to play.
All right. Well, number 1, and this is really not in any particular order, I guess.
It should be.
All right. Fine. So my number 4 game, I'm going with.
Order, but yeah, okay.
It does.
Okay.
It is a top 4. It has to be in order.
Back on the 8-bit Nintendo system.
Woo!
Driving around in that car through the downtown streets of New York.
Oh, dear.
With Dick Tracy
Oh.
getting out of the car, shooting at mumbles and flat top.
That is awesome.
Hey, flat top, eh?
So
That's your number 4?
an amazing game.
What's the name of it?
Fantastic game.
What's even the name of it? I don't even know this.
God.
It's called Dick Tracy.
It's Dick Tracy. Okay, so
I even
Justin's-
remember some of the cheat codes. All right. The next one, you got to throw in Super Mario Brothers. I'd probably go with number 3 because, god damn, that raccoon suit.
Oh, boy.
The raccoon Super Mario and underwater Mario, too. Swimming around. I think for my next one, I got to skip ahead. I got to go to PlayStation and it was, I think it might have been Tiger Woods 2012.
Oh, no, he stole it. Oh, that was definitely
That's the Masters one.
No.
It's
The
Masters one was like
Masters
2000.
one.
No, the Masters one was later.
No, I don't think it was 2012.
2012 was too late, Justin. Because
Yeah, I think it was
2012
too
might have
late.
been the Masters version.
Anyways, if you could take any one of those
Oh,
Tiger
yeah.
Woods games.
Yeah.
And then finally, I mean, you got to end it with probably a Zelda Link to the Past.
Okay.
And that's a Super Nintendo platform there.
Okay.
All right, so solid top 4. Justin, go ahead and pass it off.
Yeah, who you picking?
We'll hop over to Stink here to my right.
So we'll stay in the generation. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Adam is the only one in this podcast who was actually born in the 70s. Is that correct, Adam? Right? 70?
By 3 days.
79.
That is true. 3 days. It was that close.
Justin is an 80s baby. Jason's
All right,
a late
stop,
80s.
Stop
and I'm an
texting.
90s.
Let's
So
get in.
I kind of my video game era kind of ended with Super Nintendo.
Naturally.
I played a little bit of PlayStation, a little bit of Nintendo Wii, but for the most part, I was done by Super Nintendo, at least on a regular basis.
Listen, there are definitely some holes in the basement at our father's house that proves you played some PlayStation.
That is absolutely true.
But I got my top 4 here, and I actually went a little route here. So I'm going to go in chronological order of when I remember playing these.
Okay, fine.
So the first one starts when I was a little kid, and our father bought me an Atari 2600, which you guys probably don't even know what the hell that is.
I know Atari. I don't know the model.
But there was a game called Frogger.
Yeah,
Frogger, sure, yeah.
And
Frogger.
you used to have to go left, right.
Adam, you do not have to.
Okay, we do not need to play like
You had
that.
to avoid all the.
We know, Adam.
The trucks
We know
coming
what
up.
Frogger
Dude,
is.
all right, hang on. For the listeners, whoever doesn't know Frogger, might as well just turn off our podcast because that's pathetic.
And if you
Please
don't
don't
know what
turn the
Frogger is,
That's
there's
a
a
joke.
Seinfeld episode as well.
Okay.
That you could particularly watch.
So we got Frogger next.
Yes.
But after the Atari, the Apple Macintosh computer came out.
Garbage. Okay.
And there was a great game that you could play on the Apple Mac called the Oregon Trail.
That's a good game. Yeah. Okay. I think that was Brian. I'm not sure that you know that one.
I do. I played it in school.
And you
I played it in school. And you came after me.
And people would actually die in the
we
game.
know.
You would have to hunt. You would have to fish. You'd have to choose whether you're going to wade the river or go around.
Robbers would sneak up and steal your oxen.
Lost an oxen to the river.
like as great of a game it was. I mean, it was a traumatizing because you'd create your family and your family members could die in the game.
So Adam, just so you know, and Jason, to just I guess reinforce that point, it's such an informative game that actually probably not in your generation, but they worked it into a curriculum. So I actually played that game as a part of school, and Jason did as well.
Yeah.
It was a learning lesson.
So, but then it was the late 80s, and the Nintendo came out. And Justin mentioned a great Nintendo game in Zelda, and that's a classic. So is Super Mario Brothers. But I'm going to go with another game that's a classic, and that would be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
I don't know how Justin didn't mention that one.
You're Little Mac. He'd compete against all these fictional characters only to fight Mike Tyson in the end, and Mike Tyson would give you one blow, and you'd go down for the count. And then let's not forget that Mike Tyson then had his issues with the legal system, and they changed the game completely to just Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream. It was a character that looked exactly like Mike Tyson, but he was named Mr. Dream. So that's my number 3. And then my last one takes us to the early 90s, the arcades. We'd go to the arcade. We'd go to that billiard arcade down in Southington.
So
there.
we've changed the rules of what's allowed, but I love it.
And you'd pump some quarters into the arcade game. Who didn't want to take on your friend in a game of NBA Jam?
He's on fire!
Oh, boom, shakalaka! He's heating up. So that would be my top 4.
That's a good list, Jason.
All right, so it's really tough to rank these in order. I'm just letting you know. So, but I mean, if I really had to try, so I think number 4 actually goes. Well, you know, number 4. We'll stick with Adam's arcade theme, and I'm speaking for everyone at this table because I'm telling you right now, we've had some pre-forecast battles. If you don't think that Golden Tee is the greatest arcade game ever made, I tell you now, we will go to Sliders or Buffalo Wild Wings or any local bar and play that game. It is just.
By the way, they make a killing off of us because we'll put in like $3.
You have to play all 18 holes. So you got to be there for like 3 hours, and you've got to spend like $12 a person.
Like a real golfer.
And around hole 12 or 13, you got to be pissed off because the wheel that you're smashing didn't work, and you accidentally hit a shot.
And by the way, Golden Tee, the only place on earth where you could get backspin with a driver.
That is a fair point.
All right, so that's a great number 4.
I mean, listen, I just think it's a classic, okay? So then number 3, actually, as much as everyone says I'm going to go all PC, I wasn't. There was a game on PlayStation called Dynasty Warriors. It's actually a franchise. Yeah. Dynasty Warriors 3. Now, I think 4 was probably a better game, but I played countless hours of Dynasty Warriors 3. You were literally an ancient Chinese dynasty. You ran around and just battled. I mean, all you did was just fight people.
Kill thousands of people at once.
It was, you could get lost in that game. Unbelievable game. Kind of mindless, kind of easy to go. That was a lot of fun. Moving on, number 2. I think this is where it gets tough, 2 and 1. I think number 2, we go back to Nintendo 64, which for the listeners was Brian and I's first PlayStation. It was our first game system. We weren't growing up. Our neighbors and friends had, Super Nintendos, but we weren't allowed to have one. But I'll go to N64.
To real quick shed a little more backlight on that story, the only way we were able to even get a system was we coaxed our grandmother to buy us one.
We coaxed our grandmother to buy one, and our mother was not pleased.
So as soon as she found out, she made the rule that the gaming system had to stay at Nan. So needless to say, we spent a lot more time with Grandma.
Oh yeah, that was. I feel terrible. That was wrong. So anyways, we'll go to
all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So we'll go to N64, and I'm shocked it hasn't gotten mentioned yet. GoldenEye 007. I don't know how. I mean, that probably is that and Super Mario Kart, probably the 2 best Nintendo 64 games ever made. Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers, the original also. But yeah, no, GoldenEye 007 is just unbelievable. And number 1. That's so tough. It will be a PC game. I hate.
It's not World of Tanks. I'm shocked.
It's not. And listen, there are. And I hate to admit this, but there are at least 5 games I can think of, 5 or 6 games that I've played over 400 hours on a piece, and probably more than that.
Not that I have to explain this, but Jason is by far the biggest gamer in the family.
I'm not even good, but
that's not true.
It's a toss-up. But I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm not going to pick a specific game. I'm going to pick a franchise. And it's definitely the SimCity franchise. It is like my favorite franchise of all time. It's tough. They could have gone Counter-Strike Source, but you guys want me to say tanks.
Right. CS Source, yeah. You used to play that all the time.
But it's definitely. I'm not going to say tanks. I play tanks a lot, but it's not that much fun.
I thought Jason was going to pick Trivial Pursuit with Tim.
No, Trivial Pursuit is a board game. We did play the PlayStation version. First of all,
are we the only people on Earth?
Probably, yeah. How cheesy was that game? For the record,
buy it or do we?
No, we haven't. I still have it.
We kept it.
No, we
still have it on PlayStation.
Listen, can you guys name the hosts? Because I can. Can you name who asked the question?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Terry
Bradshaw at sports.
Bill Nye
at sports. Science. Nature and science.
Who was history or geography?
I don't know the history one, but the blue person was someone who recently just passed away. He was on the show Cheers.
Who?
Guys, Cliff the mailman.
Oh,
He
yeah.
just recently died?
Yeah. Like within the last 6 months.
That's what, John Ratzenberger?
Yes, John Ratzenberger
Really?
read the People and Places category. John Ratzenberger died within the last 3 months.
I never knew that.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, I did not know that.
Okay.
All right, well, that was a
Anyways.
fun game. Yes, playing.
Brian, you are up.
Jay, that's a good list. Mine's going to be a little bit more probably predictable. My number 4, you already touched on it. The original old school Super Smash Brothers.
It was the best.
Was the bomb.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
Was the bomb.
By the way, our N64 copy is missing. It's the only game we don't have anymore.
I'm
It's
pretty
gone.
sure I have it.
No, you don't. I've looked. It's gone.
Jason, John Ratzenberger is alive, so you just said this guy.
No, he's not.
I'm looking him up here. He's alive.
Wait, hold on.
John
No.
Ratzenberger is alive.
What? Oh my goodness.
I mean, I don't even.
Wait a minute. I don't know what to. Somebody died. Who? Wait.
Yeah,
what?
Denny Green. We already mentioned that.
All right,
rest
good point. So Super Smash Brothers, that's my number 4. Number 3, Justin can partially attest to this. FIFA has drastically grown on me. FIFA is a phenomenal game. I never played until college, but love me some FIFA. I'm nasty with that through pass. So
Was that a death hoax?
no,
I'm
there's not.
pretty
Jason, let
positive.
it go or I'll mute you. So number 2 is Mario Kart. You cannot beat a classic game of Mario Kart. There's so many levels. And plus, we were able to figure out a way to incorporate drinking in Mario Kart into one big game. So, yeah, Mario Kart definitely number 2. And number 1, pretty obvious. Doesn't matter what year it is, even all the way back to the Nintendo console. Any NHL game is by far my favorite game.
Going back to Sega Genesis, where when you knocked the guy out, blood would come out of his head. Remember?
Even the NHL version of like NFL Blitz or whatever, NHL Hits.
NHL Hits. was
NHL
great.
Hits,
Actually,
the
NHL
3-on-3
Hits was
game.
great.
Blitz, I forgot about that.
I did like. I mean, listen, the Tiger Woods sports games were better, but I mean the NHL games were second.
The
I like
NHL
them better
games were
than
phenomenal.
Madden. Yeah, no, they were
Yeah,
great.
phenomenal.
Can I give a shout out?
And you guys remember that PlayStation one where you could play 3-on-3 with the big heads?
That was NHL Face Off or something.
Face Off,
that's what it was,
By the way, can I give a shout out really quickly to Buck Hunter? That is a great.
Buck Hunter's great too.
Buck Hunter's a great
Although,
game.
Justin, are you opposed by Buck Hunter?
Yeah.
Good question.
You know Buck Hunter. You know the precursor for Buck Hunter, right? Was the original Duck Hunter on the Super Mario Brothers
Hunt,
game.
yeah. It's a good
Duck
game.
Hunt with
Yeah.
the little orange plastic gun. That was like the most fun. By the way, Brian, you and I used to play Mario Kart. Like we would do the circuit, we would do the Mario Kart circuit after lights out, like all down in Florida.
All the
We would
time.
get caught playing Nintendo 64 late at night all the time.
No, the best video gaming story I have, and we'll quickly move on, but this is, everybody's going to get a kick out of this. So we'll be in Florida, and it's like 4:15, and I'll be getting either in the shower or out of the shower, and Jason will be on the Nintendo. And walking by the bedroom door will be Nan, bringing Nan back into it since she has entered the show. She'll be walking by the bedroom door at like 4:15, 4:30, and she'll look at Jason just so focused on the video games that he's playing, and she'll look at him in disgust and go, oh, forget it. I guess we're not going to dinner.
It's so true. If you weren't ready to go to dinner at 4:30, you were disrespectful.
So that's probably my favorite video game story. But listen, I think that was a fun topic,
How did
Justin.
you know this if you were in the shower?
No, I was probably heading to the
happened all
shower.
the
It
time.
happened all the time. It was always, yeah, if I was playing a game at 4:30, it'd be okay. But when Jason's playing, forget it. I don't want to eat tonight. So anyways, rest in peace, Nan. She was a wonderful lady. But yes, great topic, Justin.
Apparently, she's not seeing John Ratzenberger. I don't know what happened there.
She's not, but she's definitely probably hanging out with
John
Denny Green.
Ratzenberger's like feeling his pulse right now. Like,
I swear to you, I am sorry. I mean, that was embarrassing. I don't know.
Another guy.
You should apologize right now to John Ratzenberger.
I just did.
All right, another guy who should check his pulse is lefty. Phil Mickelson I didn't know this guy was so agile. He can move. He can dance. He's got
How
some
do you
shakes.
not know Phil Mickelson?
This guy's old. I thought he had nothing left in the
Phil
tank.
Mickelson will be my dance partner at our wedding.
So before we get into Lefty and all of that, let's just quickly let's just quickly sum up what we talked about last week. Golf related, we made our predictions for the Bridgestone.
Yeah, and I think you guys owe me a drink or something.
I don't believe you picked Justin Thomas.
I don't think Rory McIlroy won, did he?
No, he didn't. In fact, all of us.
You didn't
In
win.
fact, I don't
without
think he
winning.
even finished 5 strokes off the lead.
No, he finished tied with Tiger.
Oh, well, then that means you owe me a drink because my pick
No,
was
he
the
didn't. No, I
best.
take that back.
Didn't
No,
he
he
finished
finished.
at 8 under.
No.
Tiger
Yeah.
finished at even par.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
All right, so
he did.
anyways,
You
to
had
sum
the
this
best
up,
pick.
I had the best pick.
by one.
That's not true.
By one, I picked
fine, I think
Ricky Fowler. He was -7. Y'all laughed at Ricky Fowler. He actually made a.
Laugh at Ricky, but I told you he wasn't going to win.
Well,
he didn't.
You're right, and I told you probably wouldn't. So, Justin and Adam with Tiger, they missed out. Jason took Rory. He missed out, and I missed out as well. So obviously, if you're thinking about betting on some golf, we are not your inside sources. But we're gonna
Top 6, top 10 finish. Nothing wrong with that.
I was in the top 10, top 7. He might have been 17th with the people, but he was one off your guy. It doesn't matter. The point is, it was a pretty good tournament, in my opinion. But I think the biggest splash of news was this Phil Mickelson commercial. Jason, you being the Phil lover you are, why don't you inform the listeners?
Well, I don't think
For anybody who hasn't seen it.
Well, what is there to inform? There was a commercial he made for Mizzen Sports Wear, and it's him pulling off some really, quite frankly, hideous dad dancing, if you will.
Hideous.
Hideous.
Oh, no,
Easy.
don't get me wrong. It's amazing, but I think we would call it, at this point, dad dancing. It's kind of painful to watch while you're also, believe me, I'm smiling, I'm laughing, but it's definitely.
Did you happen to see the somebody was showing a lot of PGA players? I don't know if it was after or before the Bridgestone. So I think Rory was there, John Ram, and a couple other players. They were showing the players the video of Phil and
I did
listening to
not
their
see that.
reactions.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you should watch
Listen,
that.
I'm going to have to watch that. No, seriously. I've said it the minute I saw that. I mean, I saw it probably the second it came online because I have to follow everything that has to do with Phil. The guy can move. I mean, there's just no denying that. And he's moving in a button-down
It's
shirt.
a very,
Workday shirt.
It's a
it's
work-
a very weird sports contract that he has with this company because they're not even kind of regarded as a golf clothing
which is
company.
what
I
makes
mean, we've
Phil
all
Phil.
seen Phil. He's been out there dressed in business attire.
I love it. I
playing
would
golf.
change it. It's something different.
Looks like he's going to a board meeting.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you this, and this actually ties a little bit into a different related topic, is the fact that Phil's right now, I love the man. I think he still has a golf game that's going to be better than mine ever will be, and he's going to be competitive. He's going to win.
think?
No, I know. My point is, Phil's thinking post-golf. Phil's setting himself up. I mean, he was already a brand name and he doesn't need any money. But this is literally all promoting his brand, which truthfully, Mickelson hasn't had a brand that's recognizable compared to your Tiger, somebody like that. Phil's being Phil, which is great, but he's promoting his brand, his style. The same thing with, and that's why I brought up the tie-in, this match that comes in November. That's promotion. It's self-promotion. It's branding for Phil and Tiger. It's great. It's great for the sport, and we can have that debate some other time. I love it. I'll be watching. It's must watch. But it's branding. It's post-golf. It's post-golf career, and I love it.
And for anybody that doesn't know what Jason's referring to, Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson will be facing off Thanksgiving weekend, I believe it is, one-on-one. The details, the purse, all of that is still yet to be decided, but it will be a one.
Purse is decided. It's $10 million.
It was rumored to be 10, so I didn't hear
that's
that
a
it was
rumor. I don't think it
confirmed.
was confirmed, and
It
they
might
don't
have
know
been, I
where
don't
it's
know.
coming from, too.
Well, it's going to be coming from television and sponsorships.
Well, I'm
yeah.
sure, but I'm just saying. Anyways,
And they're
the
going
point being
to
is
be mic'd up.
it's going to be a one-on-one.
These guys need to put the money up themselves. Tiger needs to put $5 million.
We don't.
money
We
up
don't.
and Phil
I
needs
agree,
to put
Adam.
$5 million.
But in the grand scheme of things, big deal. Tiger is worth over $500 million.
Right.
Who cares if he loses $10 million?
No, because
if they want to make it interesting, put up 100.
Nobody ever wants to lose. Nobody ever wants to lose their own money. I don't care whether you're losing $100, $1,000, $1 million.
Right. It's not more. It's not more for the viewer about the fact that Tiger lost money. It's the fact that Tiger is going to try that much harder because
$5 million would actually
lose the money.
The only argument Justin has is that because it's not their money, right? It doesn't actually add pressure. Whereas it was, but the truth is, $5 million of your own money would put pressure on the shot.
I also think the truth of the matter is because it's a one-on-one between Tiger and Phil, who are head-to-head essentially rivals in both of their primes. Then I think there's just going to be the natural competitiveness.
You don't need pressure. Let me tell you something. They're not going out there to win $10 million.
No, they're going out there.
Right, they're going out there to win. But again,
it's a podcast.
You can give a shit about winning $10 million. $10 million means nothing to either one of them.
I understand.
The pressure is they don't want to lose to the other guy.
No,
especially Tiger.
Okay.
I think this is a win-win situation for Phil, if you ask me.
I think it's equal. Because how many times has Phil lost to Tiger?
Tiger's best at throwing time. In fact, Phil's got everything. I mean, Tiger can't lose here. Tiger's always been better.
That's what I just said.
No, you just said Phil can't lose.
No, Brian said Tiger can't lose. But what I'm saying is I think that it goes equally. I think this is Phil's chance. Phil's chance to finally come out on the upper.
Phil was never the number one ranked golfer.
I'm not saying he was.
If Tiger loses,
his chance.
If Tiger loses, it's no big deal. If Tiger loses, but I thought you said the opposite.
No, I'm with you. If Tiger
loses, it's no big deal. If Mickelson wins, it's a big deal for Phil.
That's absolutely correct.
But it means nothing for Tiger. Tiger can't lose here. If he wins, then he wins. If he loses,
if he wins, it's no big deal. Like, he was expected to win.
If Phil wins, it's a huge deal for Phil and Phil fans. If he loses, it's just business as usual.
But anyways, we have plenty of time to discuss that.
What we got to talk about is the PGA Championship.
Well, hang on. Before we get into that,
I'm sorry.
I'm curious because you are such a Phil fan.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead and rate these two things for me.
Okay.
Phil dancing commercial versus Phil foot wedge commercial.
Oh, the Phil foot wedge commercial is, by far better.
Wow, okay.
Wedge.
Oh, come on.
Foot wedge everybody around?
I love them both, but
I even like his new commercial where he says that he's going to hit a chrome golf ball right, over your head.
He's got good TV presence. He's almost like the Peyton Manning of the PGA.
Oh, he absolutely.
You think he's going to maybe get a broadcasting career?
Phil will be 100%. Yes.
Going to Hollywood.
Will he be the next David Faraday?
No, not like David Faraday wasn't known to me.
But I can see Phil Mickelson taking over a role like Johnny Miller has at NBC when Johnny Miller, can't do it anymore.
Phil is Peyton Manning.
So it would be like a Tony Romo.
Yes. Phil Mickelson is your next Tony Romo. He's your next hot star guy.
Peyton Manning was a good comparison. I don't know that he'll be doing everyday day.
I don't know if Phil wants to do that.
He'll be. I think Phil. I know this is gonna be weird. I truly believe Phil will play senior circuit golf. Why not? I believe not all the time. Certain spots, he is a crowd guy. The guy, he'd literally, if they allowed him, he'd literally stop mid-round and go have a beer with the fans. That's what he is.
I don't think he would stop mid-round. I think he'd have it mid-round.
Jason, I don't see why not.
Some of these guys don't.
At some point, everybody from the PGA now is going to be playing on the senior tour.
No, that's not true. You never saw some of the legends. You never saw. I don't think you'll ever see Tiger Woods playing senior tour.
I didn't mention Tiger Woods in particular.
You just say someday.
I don't know, Jason. The way
Jack Nicholson.
Why wouldn't Tiger Woods?
Did Faldo play?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe
Faldo played on the Champions Tour.
Yeah, it wasn't called the Champions Tour.
I'm senior circuit, whatever you want to call it.
I think Faldo's happy doing what he's doing.
Of course he is.
He gets to broadcast the Masters. He gets to broadcast the PGA Championship.
I believe that the previous generations, the best golfers moved on.
Jason, all the biggest golfers in the history of the world, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Gary
You think that the current the world is different, though. You think that the current champions, you think that Tiger Woods is going to play senior circuit golf?
And in 25 years, Dustin Johnson.
Really?
Yeah. You want to know why? Because they
Justin Thomas, Ricky Fowler, these guys are all
Ricky Fowler is going to be another 50 years, but that's right.
Fair enough. But what I'm saying is that all of these guys at one point or another will be playing on the
It's this simple. I'll tell you why. Every athlete still wants to play. If there was a senior NFL, Jerry Rice would be in it. Peyton Manning would be in it.
No, that's not true. Some guys walk away.
Not some guys, but most guys.
But Jason, when Dustin Johnson's playing in the senior tour, he's not going to be playing with people like Bernhard Langer.
Also,
playing with the guys
I'll tell you exactly why they're going to go play the senior tour. And the reason is because these guys can dominate golf courses. They can make all the shots, but they can't defeat Father Time. And eventually, they won't be able to compete with the young kids that are coming on the PGA Tour. And the drive to winning will always be there. So they'll say,
Tiger's not playing Champions Tour.
Senior Tour.
The reason people will play the Champions Tour is because it's also not like every other sport. Hang on, Adam. Whereas if in the NFL, you're right, Peyton Manning probably wouldn't play if there was an NFL Seniors Tour. But what I'm saying is golf isn't as taxing on the body.
It's not
as
the body. Tiger's not doing it. It's prestige level.
I don't think that has anything to do with prestige level. If you can still make a paycheck playing the game you love, they're going to do it.
Tiger and Phil don't play 85% of the events on tour as it is. Why would they play meaningful?
Why would they go from playing only 85% to 0%?
I got news for you.
They only play about 15%.
Tiger and Phil are not only going to play the senior tour, they're going to reinvent the senior.
They're going to win. They're going to win.
Time out. They're going to reinvent the senior tour. The senior tour now is all of a sudden going to become a popular thing.
Yeah.
Prize money is going to go up. Sponsorship is going to go up. They're going to reinvent.
No, they're not. What they're going to do is they're going to kill the PGA Tour. If the Champions Tour has better ratings than the PGA Tour, good night golf. And that's what's going to happen.
I don't think that they're not going to play senior.
You think that people tune in on the same weekend? What happens when and they don't schedule
you're
this way?
talking about a downstream effect. That's not going to be the reason why they don't play on the senior tour.
No. Okay, we're talking about two different things. Adam made a different
PGA Tour.
I also don't think Tiger cares.
Adam made a different point. I'm responding to two different points. I'm telling you right now that there's absolutely no way that more people don't tune in to watch Phil and Tiger duke it out on the seniors tour than they do to watch Justin Thomas play.
I will watch if Phil and Tiger are on the senior tour. I'm there every weekend watching.
Which is why I'm just saying. So the PGA Tour just died. You just killed the PGA Tour. The problem is, and this is why we needed to have a bigger conversation about golf in general. It's unhealthy because the guys who still are the biggest names are done in a couple of years.
We kind of addressed this briefly last week.
The whole point is, I still don't believe that Tiger Woods is playing the Champions Tour. He's not going to go out there in front of 350 people.
No, there won't be.
Tournament.
There'll be 3,500. There'll be 10,000 people. There'll be way more if Phil and Tiger are playing on the Champions Tour.
The point is, the commercials are great. Any commercial, and I love your Peyton Manning comparison because I never thought of it like that, but that's what it is. He's the television ambassador for golf.
Okay. All right. I could see that. That is a very fair point. Since we're on the golf topic, we are running kind of short on time, but let's quickly address the PGA Tour.
All right. Well, let me pose a question.
The PGA Championship.
Let me pose a question so I won't have to talk. Are you worried about Tiger Woods coming into the PGA Championship? Or let me rephrase. Who are the two guys?
I'll tell you why.
Who are the two guys you're most concerned about?
I'll tell you why I'm not worried about Tiger Woods, and it brings up an issue that I brought up earlier. It seems as though sometimes he's the only one who's not allowed to have a bad tournament.
He has a bad back.
Jason,
he hasn't played 4 rounds without being in pain. He had told you that in his post round interviews.
A stiff back at a 7:35 a.m. tee time is a little bit different. He has a fused back.
No, right, but how can you expect?
Time he just played like crap. That's the thing. He has one crappy round on Saturday
because he's stiff.
And everybody raises their arms and they're thinking that it's related to his back. People just go out there and shoot shitty rounds. It happened to Dustin Johnson 2 weeks ago when he missed the cut, the number 1 golfer in the world. And did people go crazy about that? No, because they're humans and they're allowed to have bad rounds. They're allowed to have 2 bad rounds in a row.
Okay. Look at Jordan Spieth right now.
Well,
Tiger be one of those guys?
I was going to ask you about 2 guys. Do Jordan Spieth or Tiger Woods have a chance? Because my answer is no.
Yes.
No.
Do they have a chance?
No.
Of course they have a chance.
No.
Do they concern me? No, they don't concern me in the slightest.
Jordan Spieth doesn't concern you?
No.
Jordan Spieth concerns me. I think his play all year
hasn't had a competitive tournament in 8 consecutive tournaments. He's been caught in 4 of the last 8.
I seem to remember him in one of the final groupings of the British Open just 3 weeks ago.
But even with that,
and what
he had his chance. No, but
what did he do?
But Justin, even with that, he had his opportunities and he let them squander.
But to Jason's point, he said he hasn't seen Jordan Spieth in a competitive tournament,
and he was in the final group. Not for long.
I'm with Jason on this. Jordan Spieth concerns me heavily. That British Open to me was kind of an anomaly, just because that was the most recent trophy that he actually won that he had to give back.
Jordan Spieth is going to compete, he's got to find his putter because that's what's killing him right now.
I think it's more than that. You know what it is for Jordan Spieth is he has zero damage control. He'll go out and fire 3 birdies to start his round, and he'll follow it up with double bogey, double bogey. He has no damage control whatsoever. He gets in his own head just like that.
By the way, if you were a professional golfer and you could only win one major, would you want to win the
U.S. Open,
the Masters,
US
and all
Open.
the prestige that comes with it?
U.S. Open.
Would you want to win the U.S. Open, our nation's tournament? Would you want to win the Open Championship, the oldest championship known to golf?
If he even asked
or
about
would
the
you want
PGA?
to win the PGA Championship? Because I think the Wanamaker Trophy is probably the coolest trophy of all.
No, it's
I gotta be
the
honest.
best trophy. There's no
biggest.
doubt. Physically, it's the coolest trophy, no
Right.
doubt.
So
I'm
my
going to throw a
question is,
curveball.
would you
I want to win the players.
No, that's not even true.
So of those
It's
four,
the U.S.
which one
Open.
would you
It's
want to
the
win?
U.S. Open's the hardest to win.
No, I didn't say which is the hardest. I
Fine,
said which
that's
one would
why
you
I
want
wanna
to win?
Guys, we can debate this on another show. Jason, make your pick. Which,
U.S. Open.
Adam?
I think the Masters.
Justin?
Yeah, it's easy. It's the Masters.
I'm actually with all 3 of them. I think it's the Masters.
Are you guys
That's an
serious?
easy one.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's the
That's
Masters.
we love to watch that one, but okay. Well, whatever. We can't argue this right now.
No, right.
It's called the Masters
Okay,
for a reason.
so you're telling me that you guys both think that Spieth and Justin and Adam, you think that Spieth and or Tiger can and or will be competitive this weekend?
Jason, I think you take, half the field in the PGA Championship. Any
All
one
right.
of
Well,
those
let's
guys
do it
can
again.
win.
Then, okay, can win and will win are two different stories.
You're asking me, do they have a chance? And I'm telling you,
I will say one
right,
thing,
I have
guys.
a chance if
The
I qualify
PGA
tomorrow.
Championship.
No, you don't have a chance.
So the
you don't have a chance in hell.
I will say this, guys. The PGA Championship is the one major where you get some no names sometimes. A Rich Beam, a Sean McKeel.
Same with the Augusta National, but
you
that's
know,
fine.
What?
Same with the Masters. More so.
Not to the
not to the
Other than
extent.
Trevor Immelman, who's a no name who won
Any of the South Africans?
I got Charles Schwartz.
Charles Schwartz.
You states
You cannot be serious that those are big names.
Jason's right. Charles Schwartz on Oosthuizen
Get the
is
heck
not.
outta here.
Oosthuizen is a big name.
Come on, Oosthuizen
After he won the Masters. Yeah, after he won the Masters.
He never won the Masters.
I'll give you Charles
He lost in a
Schwartz.
playoff.
In a playoff. My point is,
Louis Oosthuizen is.
Let me ask you this: what's
no, they do not know his name. He's not a household name. That's false.
Jason Duffner has won a PGA
I'm
championship.
not arguing. I was making.
Yeah, but at one point,
two of them.
Duffner was a really good player.
By the way, for the record, I'm not contradicting.
Then he
you.
lost weight.
I'm not.
Then he put it back on.
And he stopped packing that fat lipper.
Once he lost the guy, he's packing the lipper now. And
Is
he's got
he?
the weight back.
I'm not.
That's why he's been competing again.
I'm not contradicting you. Both are. Anyways, can we move? Fine. How about this? Give me two guys not named Woods that that you like this. Give me two guys that you're watching this week.
Fine, I'll give you the number
And
one player in
don't
the
name me
world.
Justin Thomas.
The number one player in the world.
Who is?
Oh, did Justin
DJ.
Dustin
Yeah,
Johnson.
DJ,
Okay,
yeah.
I wanted you to say the
Well,
name.
I don't know. You were looking at me funny. I don't know with
No, I just wanted you to
Justin
say the
Thomas's
name.
win this weekend. Did he?
No.
overtake him?
I just wanted you to say the name. So you like Justin Johnson and who else?
Well, Justin Johnson.
I said Dustin. Who else?
Well, Rory's playing good golf.
He is playing good golf.
I think that he's in there too. But that doesn't mean anything. There's 10 guys who can win this
there are.
equally. Who can win this
Okay.
equally.
No, that's fine. I was just curious if there's someone you're watching because, like me right now, I really like Patrick Cantlay to win. No.
Well, I won't say no because to my point, as I said, a lot of times these first-time winners, people. I got the list here real quick. I'm just going to throw out a few names here: Jimmy Walker, Jason Duffner,
Jimmy Walker won
Keegan
the FedEx Cup, I
Bradley,
believe.
Y.E. Yang, Sean McKeel, Rich Beam, David Toms. These are guys who only won one major,
Understood.
and it happened to be the
Right.
PGA Championship.
Absolutely. It's the wild card. I
It's the
agree,
wild card.
Which is why I'm picking
Yes.
somebody who has no majors.
So I won't say no to Patrick Cantlay because he is playing good golf. And
playing great golf.
So yes, I do think he has a shot.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say Jason. Yeah, that could be your wild card. Yeah.
What about Molinari? Do we see another
Get
Molinari?
out of here, Francesco.
Molinari fell off the cliff last week at Bridgestone. His hot run. He's cold.
I gotta say though, I do love how they're letting the players take the the dress code that they're allowing the players to do in these practice rounds.
I am actually.
What do you mean? They're all in shorts.
Yeah.
In the practice rounds. Yeah, that's not new news though.
What do you mean that's not news? Name me another tournament.
There was
where the players were out there in shorts.
We just had pictures of Tiger in shorts somewhere.
He wasn't playing a practice round.
I thought he was. Are you
probably
sure?
At his home club. Yeah.
I also seen a picture of Tiger pretty
I don't
much
like
naked
shorts
with
by
a
the way.
Santa hat on.
First of all, a lot of the big names want to wear shorts on tour. I disagree with it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
It's weird. Picture your father out. It just looks like your father.
No,
out
Jay, I'm with you. I like the pants.
Our father.
Well, he doesn't count.
Shorts that he owns.
All right, for the listeners, we'll post. We should probably get a picture up on Facebook of the shorts he wears. People would enjoy this.
Well, if you want people to follow us,
yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. PGA Championship this weekend.
And we head to the home stretch of golf now.
Yeah,
we got to start talking Ryder Cup soon. And are the Americans in trouble? But listen, that's for another time.
That's for another time. That's for another show. We got plenty of time for that. We also, when we talk Ryder Cup, we'll talk if Tiger's going to make the team or not.
He shouldn't.
If you want my pick this weekend, I'm going to go with Brooks Koepka.
Oh, please.
Course is playing about 7,600 yards.
Okay.
Adam?
Hey, Justin.
Probably suits him well.
Jason Day.
Jason Day.
He's won a PGA championship already.
I want him to come back. I want him to be the best golfer in the world, but he's just not there
I'm
yet.
going to go with Jason Day.
Okay, I'm telling you, give me Patrick Cantlay. I'll take the underdog and the odds. Thank you very much.
Honestly, I kind of like the point Justin made earlier. Rory McIlroy has been non-existent for quite some time now, so I think he makes his name relevant again, wins the PGA. So that's my opinion. Obviously, we'll see how it lays out. There's a lot of guys who are definitely in contention or potentials to win this championship, and a lot of good golf coming up.
So we all think that Ricky Fowler will once again go another year without winning a major, because Ricky Fowler arguably is probably the best golfer out there right now that hasn't won a major.
Yeah, Adam, I can just cut right to the chase. I think Ricky Fowler's never going to win a major.
Okay, we disagree strongly.
I think
he was my number 2 choice.
Because he's running out of time. I don't think an old, seasoned Ricky Fowler is going to win a major.
He's not old.
I understand that, but I said he's running out of time. He has another, 3, 4, 5 years of him being in his peak prime performance.
So you look at Ricky Fowler as being the next Lee Westwood.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
How about that first round grouping though? Tiger, Rory.
Oh, we
Justin
should
Thomas.
talk. We should talk about super groups because I'm done with super groups. It's bad for the sport.
Why?
Because first of all, it introduces fans to 0 other players. You should spread the best players.
Who gives a shit about the other players?
Okay, the PGA Tour has always done the major winners in a grouping. That's fine. Absolutely, they should do it. Okay, every year the PGA has always done that. After that, and maybe once in a while as a novelty, but every single tournament we're going to do this now. I'm done with super.
I got news for you.
The
People
players don't like
to go
it.
to the PGA Championship to watch Alex Noren.
But I got news for you. The players don't like it. There's bigger crowds. First of all, the crowds don't like it either because you're jammed in like sardines on the holes where there's 3 guys. You're 14 deep. The guys in the back can't even see the putts.
Yeah, it's fun.
No, it's the opposite of fun. Have you ever done it? Have you ever followed?
Well, regardless,
the Masters this year,
and when it happens and when the crowd erupts, it is exciting. I think it is exciting when everybody erupts. They were at the Masters.
With my buddy Hogan.
I didn't know that you had gone.
Yeah, I went with my friend.
Okay, interesting. So you kept that a secret.
I never kept it a secret. We never talked about it.
Weird, because Adam talked about it.
No, he didn't. Not with me.
He got us a gift.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Adam told us he was at the Masters.
I didn't get you a gift.
I'm
aware. I didn't even know you went.
Yeah, I was there. I wasn't at the same round he was.
It's pretty freaking interesting. Okay, whatever. That's fascinating. It's one of those
things. Adam getting red over there. There's a conspiracy theory going on.
There's absolutely. I mean, that you could tell from Adam. Thank you very much. But it's just because otherwise, if it was just a completely random, like you went with your buddy Hogan got you tickets, you would have told us. So obviously there's...
Yeah, and then I would have made the joke like, whoa, Hogan got you Masters tickets? Hogan's hero.
Yeah, there's clearly a conspiracy going on. Otherwise, it wouldn't be kept a secret. So whatever. We'll just sign off the air being...
Jackass. You really are. You're a jackass.
Well, I was down there with my buddy.
Yeah, but you were also with me, Jack.
By the way, this is what we do. We're actually not 4 brothers. It's 2 and 2 because it's a continuous.
And I told you not to say anything to Jason because Jason would give his left nut to go to the Master.
Anyways,
Would he really give his left nut though to go to the Masters? I'd like to know that.
What if you phrased it that he could only give the right nut?
Listen, we are out of time.
No, we're going downhill. Before we go out, a couple other things we got to touch on really quick here. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on, but T.O., he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. My real quick bit on this is that he came out and was saying, "Oh yeah, no, this is for everybody. This isn't for me." Well, he summed it up pretty nicely at the end of his speech there when a fan yelled out, says, "T.O., we love you." He says, "Thank you. I love me too."
Yeah. I don't think
he is not changed.
I don't think anybody cares about T.O.
No, he hasn't changed. Somebody that I care about, Goldberg. I don't know if you've guys seen a photo of this. This is. Am I stealing something?
Yes.
Okay, then no, I'm not going to stop. All right, then let me stop. You'll hear about it coming up right now. We're getting into our final segment here. It's the highs and lows of the week. We're going to go around the room. Everybody's got a high. Everybody's got a low temperature. High being something good or funny. Lows being something bad or a terrible situation. And since I already kind of gave a heavy, I guess, tease into somebody's low point, Jason, we'll start with you.
Wow, not mine though. So weird, weird lead-in. Well played, Brian.
Thank you.
But we're starting with me. So my low point's pretty easy, pretty quick. We will go to the wild, wacky sport of NASCAR, where CEO Brian France was arrested on suspicion of DUI and possession of oxycodone in New York yesterday. Yesterday would have been Sunday evening. He has since taken a leave of absence from NASCAR, where I think he's been CEO since like '94 or something. It's actually the France family are believed to be majority stakeholders of NASCAR, so it's essentially a family-owned business, believe it or not. But yeah, I mean,
isn't everybody always drunk at NASCAR though?
No. And this is never a good look for any human being. So I don't think there's anything lighthearted about it.
All right, so we'll stick with the lows, Justin.
I don't know if anybody saw this picture of Sean Weiss, and for anybody who doesn't know who Sean Weiss is, he was the famous Goldberg, the goalie for the Mighty Ducks.
That's him?
Oh my God!
This needs to be shared on social media. It looks terrible.
Over on suspicion of driving under the influence.
Oh
which
my
I guess
God,
was
that's
confirmed.
him?
Yeah.
And oh my God, he looks like he's been on crack.
Well, first of all, he looks great in the photo on the left there. He lost so much weight.
Well, I don't know when that was from, though. 2015.
But that's, oh my God.
Yeah, we're going to, so for everybody listening to the show, we're going to post this photo up on our Facebook page. You can certainly follow.
It's definitely
pretty. Did anybody ever watch the show Breaking Bad? He basically looks like one of the people who Jesse Pinkman breaks into their house. The guys who steal the ATM machine. That's what he looks like right now.
You could have said to me that this guy starred in a Disney movie in the 90s, and I would have guessed every person under the sun before I ever guessed Goldberg.
Yeah, it looks nothing like it.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
We are going to post this on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook at The Forecast. Find us on Twitter, also _forecast. You'll see the photos there. It's something you want to see.
Of course, I don't recognize it because he's not wearing a Flyers jersey. So
we'll put a caption, so don't worry.
Imagine if he was in a Flyers jersey, that picture.
Well,
the goalie!
You know, they can remake Mighty Ducks 2 when they're all in a circle and they think Goldberg farted. And it wouldn't be him farting. It would actually just be the smell of his body.
Next, who's up next for lows?
Adam, go ahead.
Before we hit a low point.
We already hit a low. We're going lows.
I mean, this Goldberg picture is pretty low, but
it's the lowest.
Johnny Manziel.
We back on Johnny?
4 interceptions.
We talked about this at the end.
His Montreal Alouettes debut. He loses the game 47. Well, he's down 47-3, and he gets pulled.
I was going to say, I thought he got benched. He got benched.
They were losing 47-3, and he got pulled. 4 interceptions.
Well, in his defense, at least one of them wasn't really entirely his fault.
No, and that was the. Oh no, not that one. The tip drill. The tip drill
one.
No, but did you see
you guys watched this?
Did you see the third interception?
Replays, of course.
The third interception. He tried to go deep. He rolled out to his right, tried to go deep. It was maybe a 30-yard throw. He threw the ball about 15 yards short of the receiver. And of course, in the Canadian Football League, when you make the interception, you toss the ball, trying to run it all the way back. Guess who makes the tackle coming all the way down the field? Johnny Mansell.
Does he start the next game?
Yeah, he's got to.
He's got
to. You got to start him.
That's crazy.
You traded for him. You made a big deal about him. You got to start
out of the CFL.
No.
Also, let's ask that team, Montreal. They're the worst team in the CFL. Do you think they really care about anything other than trying to make some money?
Who's the best team?
I don't know the best team. The point that I'm making is, do you think they really care if Johnny Manziel throws 15 interceptions next game? They're going to sell more seats because Johnny Manziel is quarterback.
Maybe they'll hire Urban Meyer.
Oh no, that's.
By the way, oh God. By the way,
somebody will.
You mentioned Terrell Owens. After Terrell Owens' Hall of Fame speech, do you know what he did after that? He flew to Canada for a tryout with the CFL.
Yes, I saw that. Yep.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, it's all about him.
Brian, what's your low?
My low is an interesting one. Madden, the new game of Madden, has come out, and in a couple of songs, they have actually taken the time and the effort to bleeping out Colin Kaepernick's name. There are a couple of rap songs on Madden, because obviously I have Madden soundtrack. There's a Big Sean song and a YG song that lyrically they reference Kaepernick, and the word Kaepernick is no longer in the video game. They bleeped it out. That's pathetic.
It might not be political. It could be the fact that Madden is not signed. They don't have any deal with Colin Kaepernick, and they can't promote him in their video game.
Why would they?
They have no deal with any players, Jason.
Right, which is why it has to be.
No, that's not true. That's not true. They have to pay every player that they put in their game.
Yeah,
fine. As a player, this isn't a player in the game. It's a name and a soundtrack.
Promotion.
They bleeped him out like he's a swear word, Jason.
But we don't know if they did. They do
the NFL doing their stupid ways about something so stupid.
Well, why did this video game even pick this song? Why did they pick this song?
Well, no. Part of my low point is one for Madden to be so freaking tedious to actually do something that stupid.
Where'd that truck come from?
And two is on Big Sean and YG to come out and apologize to Kaepernick, but yet not sacrifice the money that they're making off of Madden and say, you know what, forget it. If you don't play my song the exact way it is, then I don't even want to be on your game.
They
didn't care. They just wanted the bottom dollar.
It's all about the money, just like Madden.
That's my point. So those are it's a dual threat low. It's a double-edged sword. The fact that Madden actually did it, and the fact that the two people, YG and Big Sean, the artists, that are so offended they came out on Instagram apologizing to Kaepernick. Well, maybe you should do something like Colin Kaepernick actually is doing and actually be real about your words. If you don't like it, then pull yourself out of the game. Don't be a part of that franchise.
I don't agree. I don't disagree, Brian.
So let's turn up the heat a little bit. Adam, we'll jump right back to you across the table. What's your high?
My high, back to NASCAR, Jason.
Ooh.
What?
Double NASCAR, one shot.
Double NASCAR.
Chase Elliott won this past week's race. It's his first ever race. Do you know who Chase Elliott is sponsored by?
I don't.
Workday?
No.
Justin loves the Workday.
Workday.
Hooters. In honor of Chase Elliott's first ever NASCAR win, you could have gone into Hooters today and gotten 10 free boneless wings.
Why would you not have texted us this earlier today?
Well,
that would have been a good show prep.
I remember a picture about a year ago that Jason sent to all of us when he was at Hooters and he ordered boneless wings.
Oh my God. That was
so maybe that's why
Hooters corporate never got back to me. For anyone, dude, let me tell you something right now. Do not ever visit the Hooters franchise in Montreal, Canada. I am telling you that was so offensive. I will never forgive that. Now, I still will go anywhere for 10 free boneless wings, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But no, that was ridiculous. But Adam, this is my new low. Why would you know that information and not share it?
Actually, I only was looking it up about 45 minutes ago.
Fair enough. All right, I like that.
So thanks to NASCAR driver Chase Elliott, American can go get some free wings at Hooters. The restaurant chain announced it will be giving away 10 free boneless wings with a purchase of 10 boneless wings Monday in honor of Elliott picking up his first career NASCAR victory over the weekend. Cool. So that is my high. It's only 10:30. You still have time. It's still Monday if you want wings.
What time do they close? I'm pretty sure the kitchen's shutting down. So.
Yeah, the kitchen.
Midnight on a Monday night?
Can I get some wingies? Kitchen's closed.
Tommy want wingies.
You sure?
By the way, quickly, name me the restaurant in that movie right now. What was the name of the restaurant?
It's like Goldberg Diner or something.
No, it's
Cluck Bucket.
How the hell do you know that?
Next door to Dino World.
No. Prehistoric Forest. So I know my movie too, okay?
Fine, if we're on trivia real quick, what was the mark on?
Left side.
Left side, because he swung the 2x4 with his. Yeah.
And he's also sitting on this side of the table, and he's like, doesn't hurt so much here or here, but more so here.
Oh, God, honey, what happened to your face? I told you.
All right. One more trivia
Oh,
question. At the end of the movie, they go back to the Cluck Bucket because they're watching Tommy on television, and the waitress looks at everybody and says,
"Yeah, this are Gladiators.
American Gladiators." Okay, come on.
Easy, yeah.
Next.
Thank you. Gladiators. All right, Jason, you put a new low out there. Do you have a high?
Yeah, my high is very controversial. Not all you will like it, but it's a high for me. So today, YouTube, Apple, and Facebook took down all of the Alex Jones websites or pages and videos. And you know what? It's about damn time. For anyone who doesn't know Alex Jones and InfoWars, this is the asshole who's on his little freaking show who tells you that 9/11 was a government conspiracy and that the people at Sandy Hook were child actors and nobody died. And that's a pretty damn sensitive subject here in this state. And let me tell you something right now. These are people who can't visit the freaking grave sites of their elementary, their first and second grade dead children, because this asshole has to make it a big deal all the time. So you know what? Screw this asshole. And I hope that you can never shut down his personal website, and unfortunately he has the right to say whatever he wants. But I truly hope that this guy has 0 listeners because he's just a complete asshole.
Well said. Justin?
I don't necessarily care too much for the guy. I don't really care too much for his team. But Bill Belichick showing up to the Hall of Fame in sandals.
Yeah.
I mean, good God. That's a power move that I've ever heard of.
With pants.
I wouldn't wear sandals. I think it's an awful look. It's a ridiculous look.
You got to specify what kind of sandal. With the thong sandal or the slide sandal?
I don't know. Pull up a picture.
The more ridiculous thing was that he had pants on with the sandals.
Oh my God! Pants and sandals?
I don't think the sandals was a problem. The problem was that he had pants with sandals.
I mean, to just not give a damn to that point. I mean, it's.
He was also at Fenway Park last night for the game.
Yeah, I had heard something about that. Yeah,
he was there.
Well, it's not that surprising.
Oh, he had the thong sandals on. Just like what Justin's wearing right now.
No, good for. Listen.
No, I'm wearing a thong.
No.
And the thong.
All right, new low points keep coming up. All right, no. All right, listen. For the record, looking at this Bill Belichick picture right now, good for the guy. All right, he's the most successful head coach in NFL history. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Good for him. You know what? He was comfortable. It was casual, comfortable. I have jeans and sandals. There's nothing wrong with that. First of all, it's something Adam would do. Adam has done that.
Adam would show up.
I would
never wear jeans.
No, he would never wear jeans.
No, he'd wear shorts.
He'd wear shorts.
Yeah, well, that's acceptable.
But I would never. No, you wouldn't catch me dead wearing jeans and sandals.
I think the worst part of this whole story is the fact that he did wear jeans and sandals. I don't think it's the fact that he wore sandals to the Hall of Fame.
Right. Sandals I have no problem with. It was the pants with the sandals.
Dragon. Anyway,
it's like you could benefit from a pedicure too.
Oh, that is getting. Brian, we haven't heard somebody's high.
My high moment is very simple because I actually struggled to get one. I'm going to give a shout out to, first off, iHeartRadio, because of the fact that we are in the iHeartRadio studios as we do this show. So shout out to iHeartRadio. Be sure to be able to download your free iHeartRadio app. It is free on every app store available to you, and eventually this show might be on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh, hey! Also shout out.
There.
Also shout out to. Forget his name now.
Henry Bieniemy.
Henry
Bieniemy. To Eric Bieniemy, the former Arizona Cardinal.
I doubt
How the
it.
hell do you know who that is?
You don't know who Eric Bieniemy was?
Okay, before you berate me for not knowing, Brian or Justin, back me up here.
I know who Bill Bellamy is.
You guys don't remember the football player?
I know who Bill Belichick is.
He played for the Arizona Cardinals. He played for the Philadelphia Eagles. His name was Eric Bieniemy.
Okay, listeners, if you are listening, post on Facebook or Twitter or wherever if you've ever heard of this guy. Adam, don't say anymore. I've never heard of this player.
Good point. That's on Twitter at @theforecast_forecast and on Facebook at The Forecast. We hope you enjoyed this show. It is our second episode, still a work in progress. This is our first time actually in the big studios, which is part of the reason why I wanted to give that shout out. We all have a mic now. Justin? Good call. Good call. I'm surprised he didn't mention anything to me.
I was waiting patiently.
I actually meant to jump to it before we even got to this point of the show. Without further ado, Adam, wow us with your stuff. It is Wisdom with Stink.
Take us home with it.
If you're always running late, then just leave earlier.
This was a bad one.
I like that one. I like that one. Guys, this has been another episode of The Forecast. You can find us on all the social media outlets. It is probably the easiest way to find it, _forecast, spelled out FOUR. And once again, for Jason, Adam, and Justin, I'm Brian saying, hey, Adam's right. If you're always late, leave earlier. It's been The Forecast. Tune in next week, guys. Thank you.
Never gonna break me. Sticks and stones are never gonna shake me. No. Whoa. I got a bucket full of sunshine. I got a love and I know that it's all mine. Oh. Whoa.